what is going on, y'all? Oh, what's happening? It's your boy, One Physical Therapist Assistant. Another day with the Legends of America. Oh my goodness, the lessons were just hitting me left and right, y'all. I couldn't dodge them. I couldn't bob and weave them. I had to hold my guard up. They were coming in jabs and hooks and right crosses. They was body shots. Everybody was giving me good lessons today, y'all. Oh my goodness, I can't believe it. I had to write some stuff down. I'm like, oh, what? Slow down. Slow down, I'm learning. Oh man, hope y'all straight today, man. How is everybody doing? Y'all know me, I'm just a dude that gets in his car after he gets off of work with the Legends of America, the older generation, and I report the lessons that they teach me. Y'all would be surprised how many people just, as you get older, I wonder if I'm gonna be like this. I wonder if you're gonna be like this when you get older. When you meet a stranger, you know, and you just tell them your life story. I wonder if I'm gonna be like that. I wonder if y'all gonna be like that. This is interesting. I think you get to a certain point where, you know, I'm not gonna say you don't care, but I'm gonna say like you have a lot to share, especially if you live alone. Oh, I had a lady who actually said this to me today. Oh man, let me kick this off. I'm sorry, it's cold out here, y'all. Oh look, y'all. I had a patient make me something else. So I had a video not too long ago where a patient made me a koozie, a thing that goes around your your water bottle. Well, another patient made me a coaster. So I got a koozie and a coaster. This is a coaster. Check it out. It's cute. It's pink and green and brown. There's actually some cool colors in white. It's actually pretty cool. I might put it in my daughter's room. My daughter's room is pink and brown. But yeah, she made me a coaster. I said, thank you, ma'am. I think that's pretty cool. But that's cool. All right, so, I had a lady today. Oh man, beautiful lady from Spain. Beautiful accent. She taught me a lot, but she was one of the ones who told me since she lives alone, the fact that she lives alone and she doesn't really have a lot of people to talk to, a few friends and family on the phone. But now that she's in a facility for rehab for a little while, when she meets somebody, she just talks. And boy, did she talk to me. You know what I learned from her? I learned that Spanish food is not all the same. I mean, I guess I knew that, but she was telling me things I didn't know. Like, did you know a tortilla in Mexico is not a tortilla in Spain? I didn't know that. I've never been to Spain. The closest I've ever been to Spain is Portugal. Have y'all ever been to Spain? Do you know what a tortilla is? A tortilla in Spain, this is what she says. She's pushing 90. I'm not going to argue with her. I don't know. She says a tortilla is an omelet with potatoes and onions in it. I didn't know that. That sounds like a good omelet. But she says that's what a tortilla is. But she said you get here in America and Mexican is totally different. It's a, you know what a tortilla is. It's a, I don't know. What is a tortilla? It's a thing you put a soft taco in. I don't know. You get here and it's a totally different thing. She even said chorizo. She said it's totally different in Mexico versus Spain. She said in Spain, it's a little bit more dry. I said, wow, you're teaching me some interesting things. But yeah, she said, since she doesn't have a lot of people to talk to, since she's alone, that when she meets somebody, she likes to talk. And a lot of people talk today. Woo, so many lessons. So that's one lesson. I met a real nice Asian lady today. Hey ladies, this is a lesson for y'all. Look, I'm not into a bunch of makeup and a bunch of altering of the body, okay? I'm not a big fan of that stuff. I know that's big within the female culture. I get it. However, I will say this. You want to know one alteration you can make to your body that's going to look good when you 80, 90? You want to know one thing that's going to look good when you 80 and 90? Tattooed eyebrows. This must be at least the 10th woman I've met in her 80s and 90s. I met a few Asian women. A lot of Asian women do this, I guess. But I meet ladies in their 80s and 90s with tattooed eyebrows. And when I tell you, I am not mad about it. It looks pretty good. I mean, like you wake up and your eyebrows are perfect. You Just wake up in the morning, wipe your face, and your eyebrows are perfect. They look good. They look good. I asked her about it. She said because Asian women, their eyebrows don't grow very thick. So a lot of Asian women back in the day used to get tattooed eyebrows. I don't know if they still do it. I don't know. Let me know if you're Asian, if you thinking about tattooing your eyebrows, or if you got thin eyebrows, you ever thought about tattooing them. I will say it looks good when you pushing 90. So that's one of those things that look good when you get older. Some of this stuff out here, I'm scared about how it's going to look when you women get older. I'm not going to say what. Oh, man. So that was interesting. Just learned a whole lot today. Met a lot of interesting people today. I love days like this. I worked hard, but I'm glad that I got to learn some things. Hey, yo, I met a guy who worked for the Navy, right? I've never met one of these people that did this. He worked down in submarines, okay? As soon as he said the word submarine, my claustrophobia, man, I'm claustrophobic. I don't know any of y'all out there claustrophobic. I don't think I couldn't get in a submarine, even if it was on land. That's how claustrophobic I am. If I see that hatch closed, my claustrophobia could never, I swear, let alone let that thing go down in the water. Oh my goodness. But anyway, my man used to work for the Navy. He used to work on submarines. In his job, he was the acoustics engineer, if that's a thing. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but he worked with acoustics, meaning he would get on the sub and he would go down and deep in the water. He said he used to go down like 600 feet, and he would measure with his equipment, measure the sound that the submarine would make to see how far it would emit outwards to see if enemies could hear the submarine. I said, yo, that's dope. And he would also see how far this submarine could track other nearby enemy subs. So he was the acoustics man. He was the sound man to see if they could track enemies and see if enemies could track their sub. I said, that was dope. He did it for like 35 years. Oh, I said, man, you spent a lot of time in submarines down in that water. He said, yeah. When he said that, like my heart started beating. I'm real claustrophobic, y'all. Any of y'all out there claustrophobic? Whoa, I could never do nothing like that. But I thought that was interesting. I never heard of a person doing something like that. I never met a man or a person who did that. Very, very cool guy. Very cool guy. Oh, man. And I had another interesting lady. Oh, I liked her. Oh, I should have went back and talked to her. I wanted to tell her that I found her. I looked her up. I met a former Miss Delaware. That's right. You heard me. I live in the state of Delaware. I met a former Miss Delaware. We were just casually talking, casually walking down the hall, right? And in the hallway, there's a picture of a bridge. It's a bridge in Delaware. So I'm walking down the hall with this young lady, and she sees the picture of the bridge. And she told me, she said, hey, I just want to get close to that picture right there. And I'm like, oh, okay, what's up? She was like, I know that bridge. And I said, yeah, that's the Delaware Memorial Bridge, I think. I don't know the name of it. I think it's the Delaware Memorial Bridge. And she said, yeah. She said, I remember that bridge because I was the first person to cross over on that bridge back when I was Miss Delaware. Just casually threw it out back when I was Miss Delaware. It was like a throwaway line. I was like, ho, what? What did you just say? She said, yeah, I was Miss Delaware back in the 1950s. I'm not going to say which year, but you can look up all the 1950s Miss Delaware. She was one of them. Beautiful woman. And right now she's in her mid 90s, but she was beautiful back then. Still beautiful. But yeah, just hanging out with a former Miss Delaware. I thought that was interesting. I really thought that was interesting. She acted like it wasn't a big deal. I was like, that's a big deal. Little Miss Delaware. She's short. I said, you go, little Miss Delaware. Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Had a little lady told me I was handsome today. That made me feel good. She said, you're very, very handsome. She said, you look like you're healthy. She said, you're handsome and you look like you're healthy. Sometimes the older, they say some of the funniest stuff sometimes. I said, well, thank you. I appreciate that compliment. I'm glad I look healthy. I don't feel healthy, but I'm glad I look healthy. Oh man, yo, just funny stories, y'all. Funny stories. The reason why I share these stories, to be honest with you, I want you to learn from them. I want you to laugh. I want you to be entertained. But I actually share these stories for my future self too, because if I don't jot these things down, if I don't remember, I'll forget them. I'll forget them. I always tell y'all, I've forgotten so much. I've forgotten so much throughout my career that I'm kind of mad that I didn't like keep a journal, things that I learned, the lessons I learned from the older generation, because I've been doing it for so long. But now I try to keep track of them. I try to keep track of it. I try to share it. Hopefully you can get something from it, whether it's a lesson or whether if you're entertained, make you smile, something you can relate to. I appreciate you for tuning in. And the last person I had gave me some good lessons, man. Good lessons. Gentlemen, pushing 90. I tell y'all, when I meet guys like this, or people like this, when I meet them, I just tip my hat to them. Like, I just tip my hat to them. Imagine it's 1966. Imagine, let's go back. It's 1966. You live in a little small town. There's a lot of farmland in your town. And there's an old woman with a big house and a big barn and 44 acres of land. 44 acres of land. And she's getting older. And you're young. You're a young man. And you're interested in buying her house, buying her land, buying her farm and barn. And you go talk to her, right? Remember what I told you? 3-story home, big home, 5,000 square foot home, barn, horse stables, and 44 acres of land, most of it farmland. You hear me? Did you just calculate all that? Hold on to that. Did you just calculate all that? And she wants $17,000 for it. $17,000 for all of that I just gave you. I met a person today who was able to acquire that. 44 acres of land, big house, horse stables. I don't think it was no horses, but $17,000, 1966. I'm like, man, I just tipped my hat. Is it a little frustrating that you could do that back then? A little bit, but you gotta show some respect and appreciation for people who, lived through that time. I asked him, what did he do? Well, I asked him, was that a lot back then? Because he said he used to, he got a loan for like $21,000 and he was paying like $108 a month for 15 years. $108 a month for 15 years in 1966. So I was asking him, I said, back then, did it feel like a lot? Did it feel like it was expensive? He was like, to be honest with you, no. He said it was fair. It was fair. And that's kind of like, that's all we want today, man. Today, it doesn't feel fair. And it looks funny. I'm in his room, right? And we look out the window. There's some houses behind us. I was like, yo, I appreciate you, man. I tip my hat to you. But look out this window. Look, you see them houses back there, some houses in back of us, right? I said, today, the price of that is not fair. You know what he said? He was like, oh, I agree with you. He said, I agree with you. I don't know. The house probably cost about, $500,000-$600,000. I said, the price of that house to a young man today is not fair. That's our problem in America today. He was like, hey, man, I agree with you. So I asked him, I said, so what did you do? What kind of work were you doing at the time? You were young, you were in your 20s. What kind of work did you do? He said he used to work for Lowe's Company. I said, Lowe's? Because I didn't know Lowe's had been around that long. I'm getting a history lesson right now. I said, because I didn't know Lowe's had been around that long. I was like, you mean Lowe's? Like Lowe's? The home improvement? He was like, yeah. I was like, wow, they've been around that long? He was like, they've been around since 1946. And he said it wasn't on a stock exchange until later. And he said he wishes he had bought more stock when it first started, but he didn't get in it till a little bit later after he started working. So, me, I want to know. So let me know, Mr. Close to 90-year-old, do you still have your low stock? You know what he did? He paused for a second. Oh, I love these stories, bro. I love these stories. These stories hit me. He paused for a second. He looked at me. He was like, 3 million worth. He said 3 million worth. So I looked it up. I went on ChatGPT, looked back when he bought shares of the stock while he worked there. I don't know if he got a discount on them because he worked there. He was in sales. But when he bought shares, it was $12.50. $12.50 a share. This is the lesson, y'all. I'm giving y'all the lesson. He bought shares back in 1960 something when they were $12.50 a share. Do you know in 2020, so in 1960 something, $12.50 a share. Do you know in 2020, Lowe's shares and only got up to about $66. 2020 now. 2020. It might have been the COVID crash. But anyway, $12.50 to $66 in 2020. That's not a lot. You know, that's a nice increase, but it's not a lot. Do you know what Lowe's shares are today? 2025, February 2025. Huh? $251 a share. The lesson that this man is giving me, and he still has the farm and the acreage and the 44 acres. He still has all of that. Hasn't sold it, hasn't sold any of it. Built his daughter a house on his 44 acres. The lesson is anything you're doing, anything you're investing in, anything you're buying, your house you live in, whatever it is, you got to hold it for a long time. You got to hold. This is a lesson. A lot of lessons today. A lot of interesting things I'm learning. But this is another reassurance of your investments holding for a long time. Can you imagine that? You hold something for that long? And Lowe's is a good company. You know, you go to Lowe's. I've been to Lowe's. I was at Lowe's a few days ago. Had to fix something with my toilet. But anyway, you buy them for $12.50 a share, right? In 1960 something. You wait, over 40, 50 years. It only goes up to 60 something. And then within the span of a few years, it just balloons up to $250 something. Hold your investments for a long period of time. How long? As long as you can. As long as you can. All right. This gentleman is pushing 90 and he said he ain't selling a share. I don't know what he plans to do with them, but that's his prerogative. That's up to him. But the lesson is hold your investments for a long period of time. Oh, man, I'm just sitting. I ain't even get much therapy done with him. We did a little bit, but he mostly wanted to talk. And I was here for it. I'm here for it. Y'all probably don't think I be working. I swear I be working. I swear I be getting these people to exercise. But every now and then they just want to talk. And I'm a good listener. And I've learned patience. So don't be mad at me if I'm not getting your grandma to do her squats. I swear I'm getting her to do her squats after we talk. Okay? We got to talk first. So yes, y'all, lots of lessons for the day, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through, listening to me rant and discuss the lessons I learned, the funny stories, the wonderful people that I get to work with and hang with. The boomers and the greatest generation and the legends of America. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Whew. Until the next time, y'all, appreciate it. Y'all be safe. Respect your elders. Do good deeds. Be good to people and help somebody when you see them in need, okay? And I will holler at y'all in the next video.